How long have you been a goalkeeper?
Since I was 11, so 20 years now.
So you're 31 now.
Yeah.
And for those those who aren't in open-toe sandals,
not at the moment.
So have you always played as a hockey goalkeeper? Have you played other sports?
Yeah, prior to that, it was football goalie. I only so my family had no, in terms of my mum and dad and no one's played hockey. I picked it up playing at school. Basically, I was the school 18 goalie at a young age, and yeah, just saw the pads, thought they looked really cool. Like the idea of that, and kind of just took to it straight away. The similarities were there within football. Obviously, had to change my game the higher the level I got, because I didn't actually really play club hockey till I was 18. The Reading coach who asked me to come and get involved. So when I was 18, I was involved with Reading as a junior player under Nick Brothers, who was the GB goalie at the time. So I learned a huge amount off Nick. But yeah, prior to that, I didn't really have much club exposure or understanding of the system and how hockey even worked. But yeah, in terms of other sports, played cricket and rugby all the way through. I wish I didn't play rugby so much, but when I was at school, it was thinking back. And I loved cricket. Played that as a wicket keeper as well, but always knew hockey was more important to me. And at a young age, I was also go-karting a lot as well. That was my other kind of passion. So I was ranked in, I think it was South London for a little bit, or ranked in London or something like that for my age, for a young age. And then I tried a new track and had a torrid time, and I was just like, I can't spend my weekends trying to study tracks and all this type of stuff. There's so much skill and dedication to routine and all this stuff, and I just didn't really have the discipline for it. So I called it a day.
Has all these other different experiences has this multi-sports background, has it helped your goalkeeping? I mean, rugby, I suppose, it's even though there's no goalkeeper, you're still using your hands quite a lot. And
yeah, I mean, I don't think rugby did as a ball sport, because I mean the ball's so massive and it travels pretty slowly, and it's just catching an egg. But in terms of being hit a lot and beaten up and stuff, I guess that kind of gave a little bit of toughness, because it's a hard ball to not be afraid. So if you're trying to take down monster guys, then been hit by a hockey ball in that kind of. But the other sports, cricket, definitely the movement with wicket keeping, edges off the bat, deflections, things like that definitely helped. I'd say go-karting is so reflex-based in terms of, I mean, one, in terms of the discipline of the lines that you need to do, but the other bit is obviously the, spotting opportunities to overtake and reactions of things that happen in front. So yeah, that definitely helped. And then football, was the best in terms of it's relatively similar.
So you played in goal in football. So you played in goal. You've been a keeper in a wicket keeper in cricket. But you're an international standards hockey goalkeeper. What are the similarities between all these positions? What are the differences? What in terms of technique, in terms of body stance and center of gravity and so forth?
Yeah, I think hockey is it's more foot than hand. I mean, that's why I actually love. I'm a Man United fan, and I love David De Gea. He uses his feet more like a hockey goalkeeper, or a futsal goalkeeper. He's kind of revolutionised the game in that regard. Similarities also, again, with De Gea that I love is that he never leaves his 5-yard box. He's always pretty close to his goal line to make reaction saves. In terms of differences, I think with hockey, you must keep your weight forward more than you do in football. I think I see a lot of times football goalies can kind of go the wrong way or something like that, and they can stick out a leg, or it hits them a bit more because the ball's bigger. And I don't think you get punished as much for leaning back, because you can kind of get away with it a little bit more. And then with wicket keeping, doing that really crouched position, the big difference is obviously the ball is coming forward from the bowler, but you know, it's the movement of the reaction. You're not having such a clear trigger movement. So with hockey or football, it's clear there's a backlift either with the hockey stick or the foot, and then you're trying to set on the back of that. Obviously, with the when someone moves their bat forward, they're not moving it towards you, so that it's the kind of reactions are a little bit different. But in terms of being patient and things like that, I think are really, really important as well.
Now, I'm not a huge cricket fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I've been reading Mike Brearley's book on the art of captaincy. It might really be the ex-England Test captain back in the 80s, I think it was 70s or 80s. And cricket seems to be, more than many other sports, very, very much dependent on being given different challenges in training. You know, you can't watch the ball into your glove as a wicketkeeper or onto your bat as a batsman. You kind of need to be, for it to become instinctive. You're looking at perhaps the body motion of the bowler, the wrist action. You need to know about the state of the turf and perhaps the history of techniques and stuff of the opposition. Would you agree with that?
I would definitely take his word over mine. I mean, I didn't play a particularly high level of cricket. I wish I pushed myself a little bit harder with it. I wish I kind of recognised the more important bits. But yeah, I think those things you talk about, I don't think are cricket related in terms of that, but in terms of the prep that, like for example, that I'll do for the drag flickers that I'm up to come up and face against, and maybe whatever routines they have from long corners, short corners, set pieces, all this type of stuff. There's so much prep goes into that, and the cricket will do it as well. But theirs will be more individual based than someone I'm looking for. So if I'm playing a certain team, I know they like to play crash balls, so I might have to change my starting position or something like that. It's a far more principle and orientated sport as opposed to cricket, which is far more individualistic, is how I would say.
How important do you think that multi-sports background is for goalkeepers?
Good question. I never thought it was, but the more I've done interviews talking to people about goalkeeping and things like that, I think it does. It does make a big difference. I think you can kind of see a little bit more natural in terms of people who are natural goalkeepers, if they've played more sports of a similar position, as opposed to being only processed into one position. One sport. So I think it does have an important factor. I actually think, especially up to the age of 14, I think it's pretty important to have some other sports, so you can have some interest, learn some different things, and then probably by that age, I think that's kind of where you need to be.